ClubPod.co, ClubPod.co, ClubPod.co.
Hi folks, I thought I'd do an update because of something that popped up in the news that I noticed in the last few days. I read it yesterday, I think it happened a day or two ago. Now, I was talking about, by the way, this is for the ClubPod.co website. And by the way, any other groups or anything are nothing to do with me. I don't want anything to do. I've seen a couple of people posting that using the name ClubPod. Nothing to do with me. And I'll explain why I don't want anything to do with them later. Now, first of all, I made a little talk the other day, yesterday I think it was, where I said people might use this new app, the ClubHouse app, to record shows. And I've heard people who are so-called experts in podcasts and other things saying they're recording the shows and that all you need to do is ask someone's permission. Sorry, the dog's in the background. This is just I wasn't meant to do this today, but I thought it's something people may need to know. Now, recording shows, just recording them, not even using them on your podcast, may get your account closed. Now I'll explain why. On the terms of service, so if you go onto the website, I think it's joinclubhouse.com or something, go right to, it's near the bottom. It's, what number is it? Because I sometimes number these things. It's anyway, it's in the terms of service right at the bottom. It states, I've lost it again. I'll just do it. Bum 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 bum. Oh God, I had it in front of me. Oh yeah, here it is. And it says you're not allowed to record any portion of a conversation without the express written consent of all the speakers involved. That's written consent. I did hear one guy saying that just asking was enough. Now, according to their terms of service, you're supposed to get express written consent. I don't know if that would need a signature or what. So basically, now, what I'm saying is, should you wear it? Now, let me just bring this up. News. So I don't normally do this, because this is a reason that you might get your account closed. So be careful who you listen to. This is the so-called experts are telling you this. Who on this app, who are talking, who think they know it all. Let's go on to it. Bum 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 bum. Sorry, it's taking a while. Oh, by the way, if you're using house parties, I think you might be best turning the on your phone. You know, you've got the options to turn the Wi-Fi off or the phone thing. You know, so you've got 4G. When you're doing it, I think you're best switching everything off and just leaving the Wi-Fi on, unless obviously you're outdoors. Because I've heard a few ones where if it sounds like if somebody calls you on your phone, it completely cuts the app out. So, especially if you're moderating, you're chatting, if somebody calls you, you're gonna get kicked. It just goes dead for a bit. Anyway, let's see. I probably can't find the story now. Let's see. Oh, I'm typing the wrong thing in. Sorry. I've forgotten what the damn app's called now. That's it. Keep thinking for some reason it's called House Party and it's not. Here we go. So I'm dragging on a bit. Now, this is a news story that's all over the web. So I'll just quote the BBC. Now, it's dated 23rd of Feb 2021, and it's in the business section by Mary Ann Ronson, if that's pronounced correct, business reporter for BBC News. Now, basically, I won't read it. I'll just tell you roughly what it's about. It's the website, and I've seen you can buy the software to do it. There's people are downloading the shows without even being on the site. They're just automatically recording and going to sites. Now, I don't know if this can be blocked, because you can buy it. I saw it online. The software, it's free actually. You just get it, and the website did this, and it's apparently being shut down or something now. But the guy's account's been closed, and basically, it's it's something to do with how the ClubHouse app, he could share his login with others or something. But by the sounds of it, it's recording shows is a grey area, and especially putting them on a podcast. So unless you're 100% sure you're doing correct, I wouldn't personally do it, because you might get your account closed, and it might be something. Well, especially if you're using ClubHouse, you might find it's you don't want to lose your account. That's just a quick. I mean, I could have said that in seconds, really. Just be careful listening to so-called experts. Now, as I'm talking about ClubHouse, I'll use it in this one. I won't do a separate one. I have noticed that it's a bit naff in some places. I was listening to one the other night, and it's a podcast room thing. And all I found was the woman, the moderator, she was just using it just to promote a business. If anyone asked any questions, basically it would turn into, oh, just contact me, send me an email, and my team of experts can deal with that. I mean, basically they could deal with anything. Whatever you needed, they could deal with. And I'm not even sure a business was that good, but this is a danger of ClubHouse. It just seems to be a place where people are using it and they're pretending to give out free advice, when in fact it's just really just to promote their website, the company. And the other one to watch out for, there seems to be a lot of people who are so-called business experts who are, they can make you millions. And when you look at their accounts, Instagram, they've got like 30 followers, and yet they've got thousands on, because they've convinced everyone that they're these big experts. I'd watch them. I think some of these are a bit of a con merchant. There's a lot of people who claim to acting as if they're experts and they're the big players, and I don't think they are, to be honest. Just be careful, because I did listen to one group, and there seems to be a bit of a backlash towards these. I mean, they're calling them. Oh, sorry, the cat's coming in. They were talking about. Hang on. Oh, sorry. Oh, last. There we go. Real world environment there. Oh, it's my mate's cat I'm looking after. She's a bit naughty. She's just coming for a hug, and she's covered in water because her tail goes in. Anyway, but they were talking about some moderators and some groups turning into, what did they use? The word then. Cult, that was it. Cult. They're talking about it being cults. I don't think they are cult status, but there is a sort of strangeness to some of them, quite a lot of them. And then there's other groups which there's a lot of groups that are setting up where everyone's trying to be PC, and it's so fake. You can tell no one's into it. Everyone's saying, "Oh, got to have a safe space." Oh, I'm triggered. That bunch of twits. That they're all triggered. They're all hyped up because of some word. Triggered. That's it. Oh, I'm all triggered. Oh, I'm so sensitive. Everybody, look at me. Oh, triggered. We need a safe space. And it's all about we've got to all be nice and polite. Oh, I mean, they really are dull groups, and people are you can say it's so unnatural to listen to. But I did read in one newspaper that did say that some of these rooms are really, really not sugar, glucose, just thick of it. And it'll be interesting because you can see how things are turning out. The psychology, everyone's. I mean, you can. I think eventually people will just be normal, but there's a lot of people who just. Well, I'm not sure a lot, but I've gone into some groups and you can hear some of the people, and they just want safe spaces, and they're so delicate. Oh, there we go. Sorry, there's the dogs. That's the trouble. It'll stop in a minute. No, what annoyance. Anyway, I'll leave it there because the dogs are just going to bark. Alright, cheers. Sorry about the noise. As I say, go on to clubpod.co, and I've got, if you see any ClubPod things, groups, anything, they're nothing to do with me. I don't want anything to do with them. People trying to blag their business, garbage. These so-called experts who just want you to give them cash. I'm doing this free, and I think my advice. Hang on. So, yeah. So I just had the dogs bark. I'll cut some of that out. Now, so there might be a bit of a jump there. Now, I've got nothing. If you say anything that's clubpod.co, that doesn't mean it's me. There's a lot of. I've seen one group, and it just seems to be full of people trying to. The moderators just trying to flog their website. They want you to basically pay them. It's just an advert. I don't do that. I'm not. I do this free. I don't claim to be an expert in anything. I'm not. I might be giving bad advice. They might have better advice than me, but it just comes across as one big sales spiel. And when I look at the websites, I'm not that impressed. There's, for people who claim they're experts in media, I've seen them make some quite drastic mistakes. Anyway, if you want to pay them, that's up to you. Personally, I'm trying to do it so you can do it yourself. Because a lot of these things you can do yourself. Because if you need this is why I've set this up. If people need to know how to do something, I'm trying to give the advice free, so that they're not having to pay somebody a lot of money for something is easy. Let's say I want to give you it free. I don't want money. Blah blah blah. If you like it, great. If you don't, blah. I'm not going to do this sort of professional garbage. Try and talk let's all be businessy and respectful. Sod it. You get it rough with me, but at least it's free. So, as I say, be careful if you do record shows. Don't listen to experts. We're the experts on podcasting. I've got the #1 podcast show on this and you. Sod off. I'm not interested. It's boring. Everybody's up themselves. I've got the biggest podcast. I'm so important. Oh, look at me. I'm Mr. or Mrs. Important. Oh, no, you're not. You're probably talking tosh, personally. People just get a mic and they suddenly think they're experts and the most important person going. Yeah, doesn't impress me. I think it's a joke. So, let's say I'll give all the information free as we go along. But be very careful listening to experts because, a lot of people, if they'd listen to this so-called experts saying, yeah, record everything, and as long as you just say, they didn't even ask for if I can record. It just says, recording, that's apparently good enough. Well, according to the terms of service on ClubHouse, it isn't. And if you've done that and somebody reported you, you may have your account shut permanently. Like I said, it's one of the big... The reason is they class it as What is it? It comes under their what do you call it? Data protection or whatever. It's they don't want they're doing it because the idea, from what I'm reading, is at the moment they want it so that you can talk and it's not going to go any further. While if people are recording it, that's sort of privacy. Sorry, that's the word I was looking for. This is the trouble when you're dyslexic. My mind wanders. But it's under I think they're classing it as privacy issue. So the moment some expert who's in podcasting, clever dick, is telling you to record it, it's breaking the privacy thing. So be very careful, folks, if that's your plan and using this at the moment. They might change it in the near future. If you're not sure, ask when send them an email, because I think you can email this company or on Twitter or whatever. But unless they actually state you can record even just verbally, I wouldn't personally do it, because, as I say, it's against the old terms of. I mean, I fancied recording a few conversations because they're so funny when everyone's going on about safe spaces, and there was one last night and today, in fact. Normally most of these seem to be American, but this was more of an English group because it was this morning. So, and it was full of everybody saying, no one can speak for a minute, and we have to be all this. It's so dull. But you can see it's going to put a lot of people off, because people are just going to get. They're going to get thinking this is so dull with this PC stuff. Where anyway, it's just it's interesting how I'm sorry, I'm gobbling a bit there. One thing I've noticed is you're seeing people group off. So you've got some are pretending to be PC, the safe space lot. Oh, I'm so weak and fragile. Then you've got others who are just having a giggle, and there's others. So it is grouping up. But anyway, as I say, hope this has been a bit of a help. Just might have saved you losing your account from so-called expert advice, folks. I mean, very careful of these people, because they're so up themselves. I think they know it all. And Christ, I've gone on their websites, and they're terrible, half of them, full of bugs, things that could be things that I can do in like a second to fix, that they've just left. And these are the experts that are saying, listen to them, pay them money. Yeah, right. I wouldn't pay them a penny personally. And by the way, I would not. I'd avoid people. Anybody who's wanted going on there as a moderator asking you to pay them money, just avoid them, because it's just a sales speech. I mean, it's up to you guys, but personally, if you go on ClubHouse and somebody's saying, "Oh, come use our business," you're in a sales speech, a captive audience, and you usually can do it yourself. Sometimes better. I mean, if you do pay somebody, especially like podcasting thing, ask them, find a few references and contact them, and see what they've actually done for them, because there was one try to make out that they'd get you the top position. Well, if your podcast is terrible, it doesn't matter. They can't get you the top position, because no one's going to listen, or if they do, they're not going to listen again. So it's just, it's dishonesty to me, that, because I'd rather say to somebody, your podcast sucks, and let's try and improve it. I'm sure we can improve it, or do this, that, and the other. Maybe it's too long, or it's too short, or just the way you've set your mics up or something. I'm not going to say, this is the trouble with people who want your money. They'll just say, "Oh yeah, it's great. Yeah. Oh yeah, we'll do something. We'll make things even better." I mean, there was one bloke on, and it couldn't be bothered editing. I mean, it's so easy to edit, a podcast sound. I mean, I presume he had a computer. I mean, he could do it in seconds. And they were saying, "Oh, we'll do it all for you." And I'm thinking, "Oh, yeah, it's going to cost you a fortune." And you're going to think you're going to be this big top podcaster who's going to make a fortune from day one. And I could tell by what he was saying, and his subject matter wasn't going to be a number one thing. It was quite bland. It was okay, and it'd probably get viewers, but it wasn't going to get him millions of viewers to make him, for somebody to make it worth paying people. And it's just this is what I don't like about people just trying to get you to pay them. That they're not going to tell you things aren't that great. They'll just tell you you're great because they want your money. And that's why what I do, I'm trying to be different doing this. I don't want you to pay me. I want to do it because it's just a bit of fun. This costs me nothing to do. I mean, it really doesn't. I'm doing it just when in between my other little bits. I'm not Mr. pretending to be a businessman. Oh, look at me, everybody. I'm important. I've got a business. Blah, blah, blah. I never go along with that, Oh, I'm CEO. Oh, look at me, Mr. Important. Oh, I'm the founder. All that ball. I mean, it's garbage, that. None of that interests me. When I hear that, I just switch off because I'm thinking, you're just ego. I remember, in fact, before I turn off, the reason I'm always say this, I do websites for people for free because it's 2 seconds, If people want me to do a site, boom, it's done. Because I can do it so quick. And there's a firm near me who charges £1,000 for garbage. And amounts, and people don't get it. I tell them, you're just wasting your money. But it's because they drive around in a nice big BMW and they're all in suits in an office while I'm a scruff bag. I mean, and I don't do it. And yet they don't get it. And for those who've asked me to do it, they've had a shock and I've given them better results. And I've managed to do things for them that this firm had no idea how to do. And I've spotted mistakes. I mean, I've spotted mistakes on their websites. I mean, now they were just using literally £5 website things you can buy. You can they're sort of pre-made and you just change the text. Now they're doing WordPress sites, which is so easy. You just press a button. I mean, and I saw, oh God, it was dreadful what they were doing. They couldn't be bothered giving these clients setting the WordPress sites up even correctly. This is for £1,000, and this is why I'm not the type of person who likes hanging around those people who go, oh, business, 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 because in my experience, it's just all ego. They don't know what they're doing, but they feel very important, and everyone feels important. I mean, years ago, when I finished uni, I did a degree in business, and I thought I'll help out companies. So I just advertised saying, look, if you want to take me on, I'll help your business. And I did this for a few, and the first one I did, they actually had quite a decent little business going. But for some reason, ego gets kicked in. So instead of working from that, it was a husband and wife, and they'd got I think she was a secretary. She was just a helper, basically, but she was useful. And they were doing it from the house. Fine. But ego kicks in, and they wanted a big building. No need for it. So that's just a massive expense. And then, the dog's wanting to come in. He's outside. I don't know if you can hear that. And then, big ego. Then for some reason, because of ego, that she bought this software, and it was just a basic software. And it's something. It was so basic. It wasn't really worth using. It was I could have done it better on a spreadsheet. What it was a financial thing. And so I looked at it and never used it before. Within half an hour, I'd sussed out how to use it and its limitations stuff. Now she'd paid because she wanted to feel important £1,000 for this bloke to train her on it. And I says, you don't need to. I can tell you how to do it. I've sussed it out. So of course she wanted to pay it because of ego. She wanted to feel important. And I told her exactly how to use it. And then this bloke came in, and he almost word perfectly told her exactly what I just told her a couple of hours before, and her face dropped, and I went, yeah, you just spent £1,000. That's the difference. Yeah, just because I'm sat in a t-shirt and jeans doesn't mean I'm lesser in it. I mean, I've sussed it in 2 minutes, and I says I says good luck with it, because it was limited. I said I won't be using that. I said if it was me, I'd just use a free spread. I'd use a spreadsheet software, because it was more powerful and I could do more things with it than this piece of cheap, nasty software. I said if you want to use it, that's up to you. I won't touch it in a million years. And then there was another time when, anyway, I'm just going on here, but basically, ego seems to get in the way, and I've sussed it years ago that if I was to walk around in drive around a BMW in a full nice suit and talk a few buzzwords, which I'm capable of doing, I probably could charge people a fortune. But I'm the type of it's not something I want to do, because I feel like I'd just be ripping people off. I don't like making money by ripping people off. If I feel it's a service that isn't worth it, worth paying for, sod it. I'll do it free. I mean, I can't be bothered. I don't care. I don't need the ego. I mean, one of the things, if you know me, I'm not an Mr. Ego, because it doesn't interest me. But a lot of people just want the money. They don't give a damn about the clients. And so, as I say, and I'll keep repeating it, this is free. Anybody who see claiming to be from club, doing this ClubPod thing, I've seen some groups set up. Nothing to do with me. Don't think when you hear people saying pay, you're not paying me. They're nothing to do with me. I'll try and do it free and tell you how to do it, and we'll explore, because a lot of this is where nobody really is an expert in podcasting. It's so new, so we're just making it. I mean, we're learning as we're going along, and things will change day by day. So let's hope that's just some use. I've saved you getting your account closed. So basically, I could have just said, just don't, I've rambled on. So to sum up, I could have said it in a sentence. Be careful recording and uploading, because you might get your account closed from ClubHouse. Oh, and before I go, it might also be worth noting, Twitter seems to be doing a ClubHouse version. What would they call them? So I'm forgetting. It looks to be very similar to ClubHouse. I don't know if that'll take off. I think it's they're just limiting it to a few people at the moment. Because I had a shock when when I clicked on, and someone was chatting. It's it feels very much like, I mean, I think it should have been a separate site to Twitter, because the app, it seems a bit strange, but maybe it'll work. Now, so you can clearly see ClubHouse may have problems. This is the trouble. It reminds me of that kid a few years ago. He set up that webcam site where it randomly showed different people. You'd go on and it'd be a random person, and I believe it was offered £1 million, and if I remember, or it might have been $1 million. And if I remember, I think he turned it down. The trouble was, within about a week, there were clone after clone of it, and there's now more successful sites, and I'm not even sure if this site even exists. I can't even remember the name of it. And he should have just taken the money and lived off that, personally. But that could happen to ClubHouse. It could be the biggest thing today, but it can. The trouble is, things are so easy to copy. And when, say, like Facebook or Twitter, they've got so many people, tippy-tapping away, that they can probably pop out with a new site, a clone of it, quite quick. And so I've got a feeling this is going to be the interesting thing with ClubHouse. Will it be the biggest thing today? Will it be still big tomorrow? Or will we just have forgotten about it? But all right then, folks. By the way, it'll be interesting if, say, Twitter has the same system where you can't record. So if any of these, be very careful. Read the terms of service before you record and post. Don't presume that just asking people's permission is enough, because it could lose your account. And if one of these people have got, say, 30, 40, maybe even 100, maybe 200 plus followers, and you rely on it, you're going to feel pretty gutted if you get booted off because you haven't complied by the terms of service. And I mean, in fairness, I can see the point. In privacy, it could be a problem if people start recording these shows. There's going to be because not everybody's going to want to be recorded, or they might say, yeah, it's fine to record, but later they might change their minds. I mean, there could even be a problem because, unlike when you phone somebody up and do a podcast with them, if you're doing this in a private situation, you and somebody records, even if you say yes, you may have a problem later if they suddenly they feel they didn't want to be on there. Are you going to end up being sued or anything if you post that on your podcast when it was done? What I mean by this is, but in the UK on these things, UK and USA are similar in laws. You can't record somebody without them knowing, especially inside a house. Say, it's outside you can film somebody, but there's privacy issues. It's a bit like dash cams. You can record people driving, but the sound in the car, there's privacy issues. It's interesting. It's almost, recording audio in some ways is more of a problem than recording someone's image. And so you have to be very careful, folks, when you're recording audio, doing interviews or anything, because there is a chance that of privacy, and because this app's sort of in a private grounds, if you see what I mean, it's not an open. Although anybody can listen in some ways, it's also, you have to be members of the clubs and you have to be join the app. So in some ways, it is private, and so you're gonna have there could be problems in years to come, or even months, when people realise they can sue. People sue these days for anything. Because it's just, suing is just a way of making easy money. We all know it. I mean, so for most, sometimes it's because something's really, if you've hurt yourself, fair enough. But it's people just want easy cash, don't they? And so you have to always think, especially if you got big. I mean, it's no point suing somebody's skin. I mean, you're not going to get anything. It'll cost you more to go to court. It's no big deal. But if somebody's got, a few grand, then they're going to be more likely to be sued. And so you have to be very careful, folks. And by the way, this is, I'll probably do another thing. Never slander somebody. However cocky you feel, don't call people names. It's very, avoid it. You have to be very careful, because if you call people something, they can sue you. I had this, a girl told me this. Oh, being sexist there, woman. She was calling somebody a name. And I said, I think you've got to be very careful, because there's no evidence of what it was. It was a criminal thing she was accusing this person of. And she was going, I can't be sued. Everyone else has said it. And and then it turned out this person did start suing people, and she absolutely panicked. I mean, she removed the tweet. But you have to be very careful, folks, because people do. I mean, it's not an easy thing, but you don't want to be done for slander, and it's why I'm always tell people just avoid using names if you can. even suggesting who it could be. And especially if you don't have the evidence. I mean, I've seen people accuse, especially left-wingers, they'll accuse people of all sorts with no evidence. Anyway, so that's... I've rambled on there. I wasn't going to do this one, but it's just... I just didn't want people losing their accounts. Okie dokie. Alright, cheers. I hope this is recorded okay.
ClubPod.co, ClubPod.co, ClubPod.co.